Hey, what's up, James? How's it going?
I'm good. How are you? Do you want me to go with Theodore or Donji?
Donji's fine.
Donji? Yeah. So,
Yeah,
all
so
right.
I'm recording this. This is just a little podcast interview kind of thing that we're just starting like a little side thing for our website
Yeah.
to kind of introduce the members of sideprojects.net. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your project.
Yeah. Sure. So my project is TrendTracker. TrendTrack. The idea behind TrendTrack is just to discuss the latest startup trends. So people can come to the site, they can post something that they think is trending. Then the idea is people will upvote these trends if they think it's a good trend or they think it's something that they want to be a part of. And then people can comment on these trends, sort of ideas as to how to take advantage of the trend.
Nice. What's the
Yeah.
name? What's the URL for your site again?
So the URL is trendtrack.bubbleapps.io.
Bubbleapps.io.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow, you got quite a few posts since last time. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. I've just shared it with a few friends and then posted it on sideprojects.net so far. So, um, so I haven't got any, I suppose, like uh, users outside of people that I know, but it's just a testing phase at the moment.
I see. And what was the motivation behind posting this?
So the motivation behind posting this was to get a few people to hopefully test it out, and I think sideprojects.net is like a really great place to do that before perhaps posting it on something like Product Hunt.
Nice. And
Yeah,
are you a programmer or what's your background with coding and whatnot?
yeah, sure. So I'm actually sort of non-technical at the moment.
Uh-huh.
This has been developed using no-code tools, Bubble. I know you interviewed Emmanuel earlier, and he's the guy behind Bubble. Uh, so it's built using no code, and then the idea is if it eventually takes off, I do have sort of a bit of knowledge of React and JavaScript, CSS, so I'll be able to throw something together.
What's your background? Are you in school right now?
I graduated last year. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
And you studying design, business, or
Studying commerce in finance and economics, actually. Yeah,
very cool, very cool. And then so you
yeah,
kind of this is part of your interest in like macroeconomic stuff, just trying to figure out what are the trends of the marketplace, how people
yeah.
act
Well,
on
that's pretty
it.
much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I was looking for a place like this to discuss the latest trends, the latest startup trends, and there didn't seem to be one. And I
Uh-huh.
think like a trend, as you said earlier, is the micro upvote communities. There's a lot of them emerging at the moment. And so I thought, like, why not build one to discuss startup trends and specifically ways that you can take advantage of these?
Yeah, yeah. Our site, sideprojects.net, is the same exact thing, just an upvote community. They're pretty easy to
Mm,
make. I mean,
mm.
obviously, you definitely like chose a really awesome way to make it. Bubble apps are pretty cool. For those who don't know, Bubble apps, it's you can just go to bubble.io and
Yeah,
then
bubble.io.
yeah, bubble.io, and then you can just have like your it's like a no code interface and it's drag and drop. Uh, Pretty cool stuff. So how long did it take you to learn how to use Bubble? It's a pretty interesting platform.
Yeah, sure. So I think it was quite difficult to realize that Bubble was the right platform to build this on. So I
Hmm.
think there's a lot of time goes into just discovering what Bubble is and like whether it will meet the needs of your project. But once I realized it was, you can learn Bubble in maybe less than a week, and then you can throw something together like this in uh, maybe a week as well, if you've only been using Bubble for that long.
Wow. So it only took you a week to make this whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've been building another project on Bubble that's been going for quite some time,
Mhm.
and this has been at the back of my mind. And I thought, well, like with Bubble, you can build something like this in 2 days if you want, if you're experienced enough. So yeah, that's where it came from.
Cool. And then just a
Yeah,
quick just quickly introduce yourself to the community, who you are, like, what kind of things you're interested in learning, what kind of feedbacks you want, etc.
Yeah, sure. So, my name's James Pecci. I think you can see that at the top left. I graduated last year, economics and finance majors. I've got a big interest on sort of what's the latest trends in technology, and following these sort of like economic, macroeconomic factors. Um, and yeah, so that's just a bit of an introduction to myself. I'm also interested in no code development at the moment, which is why I built this no code. But I do intend to um, learn more about React and be able to produce actual web apps. In terms of feedback on this site, it'd be great if you could all post a trend, I guess. Sort of a community like this, I reckon it's really important to get a lot of early posters and a lot of content early on. So just a lot of posting, and I'd like to know feedback, hopefully if you've got some, because I know you've used
Oh
the
yeah.
site. Yeah, so I'd love to sort of hear what your thoughts are regarding the design. I've kept it really simple at the start for the MVP, and potentially some other features that could be added, features that should be taken away if there are any.
Yeah, I do have some feedback. One I think
Yep.
is always commenting. Like I read, I've been reading the Reddit book, um,
Yeah.
and he talks about how in the beginning of his thing he used to make fake users, he used to like comment on everything. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not saying you should make fake users, but I think you should definitely
Yeah.
make sure. Like one thing that we're really focusing on for sideprojects.net is commenting on like literally every single post. The way I like to describe it is,
Yeah.
imagine you've walked into a new school. It's a month in, you haven't met anyone, so you're coming in the middle of the semester or whatever, and like
Yeah.
all you want is just for someone to like show you around the school, introduce you to their friends, say hello, you know.
Yeah.
So like I think,
No, that's a great idea.
yeah. So if someone goes to your site and then they see that every single post has like a comment on it, people really like that, because it's like, oh, this person's really trying to engage people, and then it
Yeah.
just starts conversations, and then there reaches an inflection point where like once you get enough engagement going that people start interacting with each other instead of you just interacting just with them, and then it
Yeah.
becomes more of a community.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been following side projects since your product hunt launch, actually, just sort of like as a silent observer,
Cool.
pretty much. And it's pretty amazing now. You're getting like quite a few products posted each day, which is like really great.
Yeah, we posted on Product Hunt again recently.
Yeah,
No, no, not no, on Reddit the other day, and that
yeah.
brought in
That brought in a few. Yeah, I noticed there's a bit of a spike last weekend. So what else have you been doing to grow the community on side projects?
Well, this is the newest thing. So
Yeah,
as far as like, we were thinking, well, how can we engage the community? And it's kind of like, I wanted to try and interview as many people like this on the site, because to me, it's less so about posting your projects. That's just more for Product Hunt. But what's the
yeah,
difference between Product Hunt and side projects? Well, Product Hunt's for things that are fully flushed out. They have all their marketing, completely going. I feel like a
yeah,
side project is more about coming back to get more feedback, coming back to give other people feedback. More of
yeah,
like, it's people are not going to come to this site because they want to see the coolest new projects, because nothing's very that polished yet, on our site.
yeah.
So I think as far as growing it, focusing really on commenting on people's posts, really trying to engage, give as best feedback as I can, and also introducing people from the community to the rest of the site.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's great. That's a really good philosophy. And I think like I've noticed that as well. Like there's a reason I posted my side project, which I've been working on for a few days on side projects instead of product hunt.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Mm,
I think
mm,
I would love to see people move from here and then post their stuff on, Product Hunt. That'd be really cool to like kind of like
mm.
get people prepared and give them the right feedback. So then when they post, they can like launch correctly, or maybe they could even get some like seed funding, or who knows.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about.
I have a question
um,
for you
yeah,
about like features that you might be interested in. So what, you know how we have like the podcast going on?
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. You've actually had some really high profile people on that podcast, or people that are maybe not high profile, but that are starting up some like really exciting companies like Blind and or even Bubble actually. Yeah. So you've done like that's great. Yeah.
So like the idea is like I want to continue following their journey. So do like follow-up interviews instead of just doing like one-offs, you know. I really want to keep them involved, but I also want to start like asking them if they could give feedback on the sites on sideprojects.net. And I was thinking maybe it'd be like a fun feature to have like these guests that we have give feedback to like some of the top projects, you know, on our site. And I was wondering if that you think that would be motivating.
Yeah, I think that would 100% be motivating. Like if I don't know, like if I'm not sure who is behind Blind, but if he like upvoted my project, commented on it, maybe suggested a few things, I'd find that very motivating on keeping it going, adding more features. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So
in terms of features first, or at least side projects, do you think the key is sort of the content? So like you've got to produce a lot of podcasts, a lot of comments, and then that would just grow.
So you just got to imagine yourself like not as a website, but like as if you're walking into a room that's a party, you know.
Yeah.
Do you want everyone to be silent, alone in the corners, not really engaging with each other? Or do you want to have a lot of interesting conversations, a lot of like, oh, who, you know, this person's giving a nice talk over here. Let's go check them out, you know? So I think it's more about like, how can you drive an interesting conversation and get other people involved? Which is kind of like what everyone wants. You want to go to a site and have it be alive and feel like, you know, you poke it, it pokes back, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that's sort of my end dream of TrendTrack would be just the go-to community for people to discuss the trends that are behind the projects that people are working on in sideprojects.net and Product Hunt.
Yeah, maybe just copy this. Just start like messaging some users and be like, hey, let me do a video chat with you. Let's like talk about some trends, you know? And,
yeah.
And then like post that on one of your things and you're in the comments section, or, you know, add a little video module, you know, might be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the features I would eventually like to add, some sort of podcast aspect, along with maybe past trends. So instead of just the most recent trends, it also shows you what's been trending historically. So it might be like
timeline.
What? Sorry.
Like a timeline.
Yeah. So it's sort of like a timeline of all technology trends. Yeah. So you'd see like, I don't know, like the rise of Flappy Birds and like Flappy Bird clones, the rise of fidget spinners and fidget spinner apps, the rise of all these sort of trends, and like a map of how long they lasted. Yeah.
Like a modern day historian.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know, just the tech. Yeah.
Cool.
Or at least part of the website anyway.
And that's awesome. And then so what's the next feature what's the next features you're working on for TrendTrack?
So I think the design could be improved. I'd love to have like a graph next to all of the trends. I'd like to have the ability to like reorder posts as to like number of upvotes and most recent, that kind of thing. And then the ability to see other people's posts, comments, notifications as well is pretty key. I noticed that you've got that on side projects now. And I think that's, again, like in terms of engaging a community, like notifications is really important.
Oh, that's cool. Well, great. I think that wraps it up. Really enjoyed talking to you. And yeah, let's do this again in your next like big update or something.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for having me on, and good luck with side projects and the progress you're making. I'd love to come back on eventually if we see any growth in TrendTrack. Thanks a lot for that. See you later.
Catch you later, James.
Yeah, see you later.